Alright, so this is the final output of the file in Photoshop that we're going to do. We'll just make a little bit easier, no other fancy effects, because this is our first time in using Photoshop. I hope you will learn something. In this video, we're going to start from nothing, from scratch. So let's click Create New. And then this is the new document dialog box. All we need to do is fill this in. Um, the most important part here is this one, the unit of measurement. Make sure it's pixels and not inches, centimeter, or other things. Um, we're going to work a design that's only intended for the screen, not for printing on hard paper or other, or anything else, but only for the digital copy. So we'll just choose pixels. For this activity, we can put like 700 by 400. Then we'll leave the resolution to 72. Background is white. And then we can leave this like that. We can rename it later on. So I'm going to click create. So this is the size for the 700 by 400. Let's learn first how to display or hide the panels and toolbox or tools. So you go to Windows, and over here you can check any panels that you need. For example, if you need the tools, it's over here. Let's click this one. It says over here, you see the tools is unchecked, so we cannot see it over there. So when we select it, now we can see the toolbox or the tools. So for other panels here, most of the time we'll be needing the layers. Okay, so let's go to the layers window. Here we need this most of the time, and this is how it looks like, layers. Or you can click this, turn off, hide, and show. Also, we need the navigator. This is how it looks like. So over here you can zoom in, zoom out, and zoom in. So normally we just want it to be in the 100%. Also, for the text, you need the character panel. So this one. All right. So this A here is for the character panel button. This is for the paragraph. This is for navigator. And later on for the history, we'll need that. And layers are here. Make it a habit that before you do anything on the document, look at the file name. It says here Untitled. Make it a habit to save, to give your work a file name from the very beginning. So let's save it now. File, save as. Okay, let's save it with this name. I'm going to do this. This file is about text mirror effect. So I'll save it that way. Note that we are saving it with Photoshop extension as a Photoshop file. So it's PSD. So I'm going to click save. And you can see here, this one tells us that we already saved our work. Let's start putting our name here. So in this case, we will use the text tool or type tool. I'm going to click this. And when you move your mouse, notice that your mouse pointer changes to an I-beam with a box inside. It means we're going to insert a new text box. And also before I click on this, on the canvas, on the stage, please look at our layers. Right now it has a one layer and the name is background and it's locked. It's colored white. It's basically the background here. So when I click here, notice that it added a new layer for these letters that we're going to type. So in this case, I'm going to write my name. Then I will click the move tool so I can move it somewhere here. Now please take note of the name of the layer. It's automatically changed to whatever we write here. So right now we have two layers, the text and the background. Okay, so if I need to change the color, the size, the font of this name, this text, I can go back to the text tool. And if you will look at the side here, this is the options bar. You will be able to change the font, the weight, the size over here, and also the color. Alternatively, you can do that with the character panel. So if you will click that, over here you have the same fonts and other settings. So maybe you want it to be a different color. Maybe you want it to be this blue. Okay. Or over here you want a bigger size. You can type the number here. So maybe I will write 120 and press enter key. Okay. Move tool, to move it around, I'll put it somewhere in the middle. With regards to the options bar here, the reason why it's called options bar because whatever whatever tool you selected here, the settings on that bar will change. See, when I click type tool, the settings that are available are only for the type tool. So that's why it's called the options bar. Now, if you cannot see this, you just go to window and then this is what you need, options. So let's go back to the options bar with the type tool. And then let's go here, this button here. And, we will add a little bit of effect to our text. So I will, right now the default is none. Let me choose, okay, fish eye. All right, let me do fish eye. Maybe drag it somewhere here. Okay, all right. And then click OK. So move tool again. So we're going to make a mirror effect for this text somewhere here, like a shadow mirror effect. That's why it's best that the baseline, the bottom should be in a straight line, not wavy. All right, so let's go and check our layers. We still have 2 layers here. Now we're going to duplicate this text layer, so we'll have another one for the shadow or the mirror effect. So you can do right click and then duplicate layer, or you can do Control J on your keyboard. See, when I did the Control J, Photoshop will give us a copy of this layer here. That's why the name is the text name and then copy. Now we can rename this so it's not confusing. You double click on the text, not on the space, because when you double click on the space, it will give you something else. So make sure you double click on the label, the name, and then you can rename it. In this case, I will rename it with just shadow, mirror effect. All right. Then as you notice, we have 2 layers for the text just. We cannot see the other one because they're exactly on the same spot. Now, you can use the move tool to move the shadow down. Now we can see the 2 texts separate from each other. Now with the shadow, I'm going to decrease the opacity to a lesser value like this. It looks like in a glassy reflection. And then I need to flip the letters so that this end of letter S, this one should be this side, so that it really looks like a mirror effect. So I'm going to select this shadow layer to tell Photoshop that I want to work with the shadow for this layer. And then I'll do Control T. Control T means transform. With Control T, you can resize using the edge or rotate it. But for this, right now, what we want to do is flip the letters vertically. So what we need is this. So right click and then flip vertical. Now, so you can see this corner here of the letter is now mirrored on this side here. So I'm going to move this up a little bit so that it will really look like a reflection. And then I'm going to right click again, and you notice that the one that I need, which is distort our perspective, is disabled. We need to say I cannot use it right now. So I'm going to press enter. Now in order for us to use the distort, we need to change this or convert this text layer into an image. So to do that, you need to rasterize it. So this is what we need. Right click, rasterize type. Now when I click this, you'll notice that the thumbnail changes to an image instead of a letter T like this. And then once it's rasterized, I can do Control T again, and then right click. Now the distort and perspective is available. In this case, I need to, I'll do right click and click distort, and then I will use the corner to stretch this side something like this. So this one looks like a mirrored effect. All right. And then once I'm satisfied, I can click enter key. What I will do next before I save this again, I will use the crop tool and then remove those spaces that I don't need. So maybe like this. Then I will press enter key. And then as you can see here in the file name, there's an asterisk. The asterisk means you did something in the canvas in the document, and then you're not saving it yet. So let's do Control S to save it. Click OK here. Now the asterisk is gone. Okay, let me show you the folder where I'm saving this work. So as you can see here, it's Adobe Photoshop document. The type is a PSD file. Now, if you want this work to be shared online, you need to save it as a JPEG or PNG or GIF. So aside from PSD, you need to save it into something else, a compressed file format like JPEG. So to do that, File, Save As, and then you go to Save As Type. Instead of Photoshop, you choose either PNG or any of this. I'll just choose a JPEG for now. Then I'll click Save. Then OK. Now if we'll go back to our folder, we now have here two files. One is JPEG and one is the PSD. Alright, one more thing before I stop this video. I forgot to use the history. Okay, this is the history icon. Or you can go to Window and History. With history, we can undo changes with our work. So you just need to click one step at a time to see which changes you want to go back, revert with.